first thing I'd like to say is sorry for the shitty, low quality pictures. Anyway, there's a lot going on in this episode, and there's so many like small side things to cover. The first one, obviously, I mean, sad Penny. I hope Penny feels better, but when it comes back to more of the ongoing plot events, because we know the whole event that went on, the stupid little smug election like victory party before the victory had even been put out for Robin Hill, and Tyrion crashed it, did all this work to make it look like it was him attacking. There's so many problems with that idea that I don't really know how it exists anywhere outside of like an episode of Fairly Odd Parents. I'm not too sure on that, because one, any Faunus, this is one of the things that I don't think I mentioned the last video because I didn't realize it until a couple days later. Any Faunus should be able to see them. That it was mentioned in Volume 1 that one of the things the Faunus had over the the normal humans during their war was the Faunus had night vision. Even if you wanted to argue, oh, well, not all animals have night vision, so not all fauna should have night vision, you can't say that unless the series itself puts it on there, because it was specified that the Faunus have night vision. It doesn't matter of the species or what animal originated from. As it's stated, they have night vision. Now, you can, again, if you wanted to say, well, the blah, blah, the animal of origin counts. If you wanted to run that, then what about the one chick that's in Robin's crew that Tyrion straight up attacked? She's a sheep. She can see in the dark. So how did she not see Tyrion? And on top of that, when it shows like the doctored videos, like this big edited video, so it looks like Penny attacking, using all these clips from her normal life of attacking Grimm and whatnot. Her attacks are going to be way different looking than Tyrion's, like the effect on. Like Tyrion's got a short blade, he's got those cool like little crescent sickles that go along like the gauntlets that he wears. They're not gonna do like deep slashes. Penny's primary attack, like she, of melee attack, not her giant energy beam, that would have been obvious. She's flinging her swords, controlled by wires, and like spinning and slashing movements. Those are going to do a lot more visible damage to not only the environment, to also a person. And that whole scene, I think, is just so silly when you think about it. But after that point, you have Robin Hill, who's seen, like hijacking a truck and, throwing all these military robots and people out of it. And I already mentioned, I don't like Robin Hill. I think she's a really stupid character. This is somebody that they should have introduced way earlier. Like, not even like her character, but like stories about her. So we had something to go on. All we really have to go on are the things she's performed in this volume. And that is that she doesn't abide by the law. She attacks military personnel. It's so stupidly illegal. I don't understand how anybody would be like, maybe we could be on her side. That, like, the military guys, they're not going around just, like, massacring people. This isn't China. It's so ridiculous to be like, oh, hey, those guys, they're just doing patrol stuff. Let's go hijack their truck and steal from them. That is such, like, against the law. It's ridiculous. She's not like, oh, let's trick them and sneak behind them to look in this place for, uncovering the truth about some plot where it turns out they're the bad guys. No, you're straight attacking and stealing from the military. In what world is that considered, like, okay? But beyond that, there is, like, some parts where they're talking about, like, well, to kind of get people under control, because all the civilians and stuff, there's a lot of riots and a lot of chaos going around because of the whole election and the violence that was ensued by it. Grimm showing up because Grimm react to the emotions of others, and they're talking about like imposing martial law, and Nora starts getting mad and like, oh, you can't do that to these people. They're suffering. You can't complain that the military's presence inside of Atlas, like they are right now, is some form of problem, because the Grimm are running way more rampant right now because of obviously the fall of Beacon and all the events from Volume 3 and Salem being way more active right now. You can't say that, oh, well, we shouldn't have these guys like their military presence everywhere. If you subtract them from the environment, like look at the last episode when all the Grimm started attacking. Take all the military people guy up. Take all the people that are constant supervision of the streets. They're not going into people's homes. They're literally monitoring and standing watch for crime and giant monsters that will fucking eat people. That whole idea is so stupid. Like, it's not like, oh, well, this is just everyday life. This is everyday life, even when there's peace. No, they're like this. You have this extremely, like, higher revved up, like, sense of security because there's all this shit going on. They're cut off from other kingdoms. They're afraid of what's going on. The Grimm are way more active. I mean, you just had Grimm, like, attack the city, and it was just like, oh, yeah, another Thursday. Nothing about this part makes sense in any form of real-world logic. I mean, you can act on like, oh, you can't be, like, holding over all these people. What would you rather them have? That nobody's standing ready for an attack when you know it's coming? It's so ridiculous. I did like Ironwood, like, he's, in a lot of ways, I think he's being portrayed from a standpoint as, like, this, oh, he's just thinking on, a military mindset. He's not doing what he should be doing. He's just doing what a general should be doing, not like, somebody actually connected with the people. I think he's doing what a logical person should be doing and trying to put the people, like, he's not trying to control them. He's not trying to be a tyrant. He's trying to protect them from the Grimm and right now themselves because of all this stuff is going on. And that was so... It had such a silly kind of setup to make it seem in any way like he's in the wrong. I think he's 100% in the right, because nothing he's doing is for nefarious purposes. He's not some Disney villain like, oh, I'm doing this for the good of the people, but he's actually got some scheme running. He's 100% honest and, like, trying really hard to help all these people. But I did really like the whole part when he was, like, he had to flex his authority and, all the Aesops and Winter. Well, were there any Aesops? I don't know. I know Winter was there, and, she's like, oh, yeah, there we go. It's, what's his name? Clover. Convenient. But, and Winter, saying, yes, sir, because obviously, they reported to him. And you had Crow, Ruby, and Nora not saying anything. But then Ren, was like, yes, sir. He's smart. He understands the severity of this situation. I think it's also, like, not only a good thing for Ren as a character, I think it's interesting for what they're probably gonna do some, like, good conflict between Nora and Ren after last episode when Nora finally decided to not stop waiting for Ren's super calm personality, made her move, kissed him. So at this point, there's going to be some conflict opening up between them because, he's going to obviously have some conflicting stances on what Nora is thinking right now. But again, I think it makes sense for Ren. He's calm, like his power, like he can just like calm himself, get like a steady head. He's thinking of it rationally, and Nora and all of them are thinking of it purely emotionally, and then they're trying to be like some like extra good nice guys, but you can't look at this scenario and be like, well, it makes them uncomfortable. You got all these military guys going on. They're not attacking people. The only time they've done anything we've seen is when people are breaking the law. It's not like, hey, what are you doing? Oh, I'm just getting a sandwich. You don't have a license to get a sandwich, and shoots him. You get like all these angry protesters and guys throwing stuff through windows and breaking public property and Grimm attacks. It's, oh my god, it makes no sense for some of these people. I mean, I guess you could say they're acting on emotion, they're not thinking rationally, but other than that, they aren't thinking with any form of like weight to their mind, and I think that's just ridiculous. I mean, I can get why in this scenario, but you can't say that, oh, well, he shouldn't be doing that. You can like feel sympathy for these people, but you can't look at something like this and be like, oh, it's not necessary. It's definitely necessary. You got giant monster attacks regularly. But after that point, you get a part where Yang and Blake, oh my god, I honestly am starting not to be able to stand their characters. They're getting really annoying. They end up like betraying the crew that they're with. They're with fucking Robin Hill, who's a criminal, attacking military groups and stealing from them. And what logical idea would it be? Oh, maybe we should just talk to her. Maybe we should just talk to her. And, we could try and figure out a solution. No, They're past that. You don't, after like, oh, well, maybe they're just mad. And then it's like, oh, well, they're stealing stuff. They're stealing cars and destroying, robots and stuff for the Atlas military and their government. No, at that point, you arrest them. You're a huntress. Do your freaking job. God, it's so dumb in this scenario for their characters. They've been getting really annoying the last couple volumes. And I thought it couldn't get any more annoying than like how horribly Adam was treated at the end of Volume 6. But now they're just being annoying on a writing aspect instead of like that was it, like super inconsistent. They just beat a character that was definitely one of the better villains of the series, like Adam. But it's so silly. And they not only betray them, they give up their plan. I mean, it's like it was already explained. Like, not only was there, like, you're a viewer. You can look at a scenario that obviously is in a much different time frame than the people in the verse. You know more information than them, and you can look at, like, oh, why aren't you telling people about Salem? Oh, well, telling people about this crazy, immortal, like, grim witch. Oh, yeah, telling people like that and, causing more creation of Grimm, causing more panic in the streets. It's going to be a great idea. Oh, what are we talking about, the whole Amity project we're trying to do? Okay, yeah, tell it so the spies that you know are in the city will know what you're doing and work to stop you. It just makes so little sense after that point of it, like, legitimately being directly told to you, of being like, well, I still don't agree with it. It's like, no, that makes perfect sense. Stop doing what you're doing. You're making things harder for everybody. The moment though when I like the whole part with how's his name sounds, is it Pierre, the creator of Penny. I think it's Period. I don't know. Old professor man, Black Geppetto. There we go. He's discussing, like, he was with the crew, the scientist group, their robotics and all different types of, like, defense systems. And they're like, oh yeah, we're all gonna make our own ways of advancing, the projects. And he wanted to make more of a, normally, I get this whole part. I thought it made a lot of sense. Normally you're going to go for, better weapons, better detection systems. You're going to a lot of understanding stuff. But he wanted to make, someone like Penny, where you have a weapon that can connect to the people, that can feel, that can do these things. And I can get all, like, the sides of all the characters involved in that, because all of them, I think, made sense. And he ended up actually using his aura and his semblance in order to really kind of, like, give that to Penny, which was nice. It was really good to his character and really kind of, like, telling for some of the events. Though, I did think it was obvious when he had, like, the picture frame and he had, like, all the people on there and he covered up one guy's face specifically. I was like, oh, that's Watts. I don't even need to look at, like, the guy's hands to see he's the same color, or, the color of his, his sweater is the same color as, like, Watts' undershirt, whatever. That much was obvious. I'm just like, there'd be no reason to cover up one guy's face if they weren't significant. So I like that little nice little note, and it probably, he probably covered it up for, much more in the past reason. But as it were, now you have we got some information on Penny. We got some nice building there. I have nothing further to say about, like, the whole Blake and Yang going against Robin thing, because I can't stand their characters right now. Why would you go and tell your secrets to a vigilante? I can't even call her vigilante. She's not like Batman, where Batman's going around fighting all these criminals and corrupted cops and gang bosses that the police are too afraid to go mess with. No, she's attacking military groups that are literally just driving around trying to do their job. They're not hurting anybody. They're just going and taking supplies from one spot to another. It's so ridiculous. I can't stand her character. Or their characters, and I can't stand Robin Hill. Plus, like, the fact that sheep Faunus, she should have straight, like, told her, like, oh yeah, it was this guy. At least it wasn't Penny. I can see in the dark. I'm a Faunus. My people were stated to be able to see in the dark in Volume 1. Good job, RWBY consistency writing, Rooster Teeth. But after that point, there was a really nice moment between Oscar and Ironwood. And Ironwood is, discussing the plan and how he doesn't think that there's like a too far they could really go to, like, in defeating Salem. And I can kind of agree with him, because you can try and pull back certain aspects, to be nicer. But at the end of the day, if you fail to do it, she's going to win in the end. And when you can get towards, the amount of maybe, like, dark stuff you got to do in order to get to that point, I mean, unless somebody at that point is like, well, screw it, I want to be the bad guy now, then those people are going to bear with the sins of their actions, but they're going to know that people are going to be safer because of it. Now, I really liked him talking about, how that whole thing when they're like, well, we can't lose our humanity. That's the thing that we have over Salem. And he was discussing, like, Ironwood's like, well, maybe that's her advantage. And he's like saying, like, does she not hesitate? Does she not fear? And like, what's the tone and the experience that he had while she made her presence known back in Beacon. I thought that was a really good moment for his character. Right now, the side characters are way more enjoyable than the main cast of the series. It's so strange. But now we're getting set up. Jacques is inviting everybody to dinner over some meeting, discussing Ironwood's seat on the council. I wondering how he got that through so fast of like, I'm on the council. It's been like, actually, I don't remember what the time stated was, but I mean, to already like him getting into like inaugurated into his seat, I guess is one thing, but to be like, all right, let's question this guy's, his purpose and quality towards this position. I feel like maybe a little bit too quick, but I mean, especially Ironwood, like he's not just some like, he's not like Robin Hill where it's like, hey, I'm a criminal that somehow made it onto the council. It's like, no, Ironwood is the highest ranking member of their military we know of, years of experience, and he's got all this stuff under his belt. I mean, there's obviously some corruption going on and some trickery from Watts, but still. Anyway, the episode, I mean, you could easily summarize a lot of it up of my discomfort for some of these characters being stupid in the way that their thinking was over this whole situation. Ironwood's actually like maturity of knowing like what I'm doing is a bit, it's a bit severe, but it's for these people and it's what is, what I think is going to work. They're going to have to deal with it in order for things to really go down. Why we don't need to be telling them certain aspects for both like the people's sake and the plan's sake. And, I think Ironwood actually, in addition to Penny, are really carrying this volume. Like, Volume 7, we're more than halfway over. And really, like, outside of the two of them, what like, big, heavy character stuff is going on? I mean, like, Ren and Nora had their moment, but there hasn't gotten any, like, deeper stuff beyond that yet. But I think Penny, like, the way that we're seeing Penny after her return and her whole, like, reaction to all these things, and just Ironwood's grasp on this whole situation is really... I think the best parts of this volume. I'm like, I don't care about like a lot of these other events going on. And Crow's been backburned. Robin Hill, for some reason, is important, even though she didn't exist until the start of this one. She's literally just a criminal. But other than that, thumbs up the video, befriend the like button and subscribe button, and check out my other videos. From that, I appreciate everyone who's already subscribed, and I thank you all for listening.